Just thought I'd log this bit of information before it gets totally dark. It's about 6:15 in the evening, Wednesday. Maestro's just left to go and do the ceremony with Maestro Christian, because this Russian girl who's the shamana there wants him to sing some songs, and we're not doing anything anyway. Didn't go and get my bark. Because we're going to, now I'm doing resin tomorrow. I'm going to drink a couple of drops of the resin from the Catala tree again to try and just continue the work on my skin. Stop these little spots coming up, I hope, or just continue basically. But I had a quick chat with him about the astral travel thing, and it's complicated because I found the part of the last ceremony, where he said, right, you want to go and visit Maestro Hira? And this is why it is complicated, because to visit people and talk to them, they have to be spiritually advanced, and they have to, believe it. So relative levels of spirituality is important in the people that you're actually trying to communicate with, even in their dreams. So if people aren't particularly spiritual, or certainly don't believe in it, you're not going to see them. And this is what happened when I asked him quite a few questions again about the Icaro before. And the Icaro wasn't to actually travel, it was for protection while we travelled. So this is why he sang loads of trees. I listened to it, and it was a lot of the trees again. He said, no, this was just for protection. It's not to actually travel. The travel's done with just the will of your mind when you're on ayahuasca. And even in that instantaneous second of travelling, you need the protection, because witches are continuously scanning all the time. For people on ayahuasca, probably from 8 o'clock every night, there's witches always reading books on black magic and permanently scanning everywhere for people who are doing ayahuasca ceremonies and coming up on the ayahuasca. And they can attack them even in that instant. And it only takes an instant to travel. You can be attacked through that when you're traveling. So that's why you have the protection. He said, it's a very good question. I'm glad you asked it, Rick, because so that if you ever do, you try to do this yourself, always ask me first, so I can give you lots of protection. So that's why I went with him, and that's what the Icaro was actually for. The travel itself, he said, right, when we're ready, and he just said, I'm going to blow. So he said, right, I'm going to blow, and then we'll go. He said, and then so wait for me to blow, and then be prepared and concentrate on. And he said he was stood next to me in the center of the Maloka. And I said I could only see Hiro. I thought I could see Christian, but very hazy. But I couldn't see Lady. And he said that's because she's not as spiritually advanced as Christian. He's done a lot more work with the shamans, and he's had a lot more ayahuasca, because Lady's only done 6 ceremonies. And he said she's also she's got a lot of fear. So she's got a lot of fear with ayahuasca in the spirit world. So she's not, so that's why I couldn't see her. And then this led on to the conversation about, is it the same for people in dreams? He said, well, they also need to be quite spiritually advanced for you to see them, although you can still do it if they are, because the spirit is out of the body when they're sleeping. And this also made sense, that the reason people can be healed, I gave the analogy of a car, as the human body is a machine, basically, which I've spoken about before. David Icke's always spoken about this is just a machine, and I had my own realizations and information on that in ayahuasca ceremonies. And when you're on ayahuasca and your spirit is out of the body, this is why the deep healing can take place on ayahuasca, because the spirit's outside the body. And I said, that's why Papa Julio could actually open me up and see inside my heart. And he said, yeah, it's a bit like poking around in the car, and tightening up a few nuts and bolts kind of thing. When the people are on ayahuasca, because the shamans can actually, and the medicine can get into the body without spirit being in it, because it's fluid and it's outside. So this same thing applies to a degree to astral travel, and why you can see people. If they're spiritually advanced, or say they were meditating, that would probably be the case. and visit them in dreams, because the spirit's out of the body, or more fluidly out of the body. It's more of a transition state when people are sleeping, because the body's resting. So it's possible to visit the spirit of the person. So this is why it won't work with people who aren't so spiritually advanced. You probably won't see them even when they're sleeping. So that at least I understand that now. I can tell everybody, that it's a waste of time. I'm not going to be able to visit them in their dreams, because I don't know anybody who's spiritually advanced enough, probably. Well, it was funny seeing Joe, but Joe texted me today and said, I didn't get a message. I presume it didn't work. And I said, it was complicated anyway, because I only knew about the Icaro, which is what I thought was necessary for travel, but it's not. So that confirmed all that stuff. And then he was also making a new set of chicapas out of the leaves that you showed me on the other video. And there's 12 of them. And I said, is there a specific reason why you have 12 stalks with the leaves on them? He said, it's just the number of apostles of Jesus. So there's 12 stalks that you have, each with, each is one is a leaf. Well, the little leaves on the stalks with leaves on them. So he bound them all together and made himself a new set of chicapas. So I said, because what happens is the others dry out, and obviously then the leaves start to fall off. So and I said, how long do they last? And he said, not long. He said, it's only about 5 ceremonies, and then they dry out and then start to lose their leaves. And then he had his old one and his fresh one that he'd just made, and shook them together. And the new one has got a very, very slightly lower tone, slightly more bassy in comparison. The other one's a bit more brittle because it's dry, so it's just slightly. But his other one's still working. But he said he's made a fresh one, probably to take with him tonight. So just another bit of information. So that's interesting. But about these witches, they can literally, in that instant, it's fascinating. Because he was saying about, it's just, you go there in the speed of lightning, kind of speed of, you're just instantly there. As soon as you decide to go, you're there. I said, but you can still be attacked in that small time period by witches. He said, yeah, that's why you need a lot of protection. I said, wow, so they must be perpetually looking. And he said, yeah, they are. They're perpetually scanning all night. There's going to be witches somewhere that are perpetually scanning for people who are coming up in the spirit world on ayahuasca, in ceremonies, all over the place, all over the world, and people astral traveling. So that was really weird. So I just thought I'd log that, and then it's clear that I won't be able to talk to my friends unless they decide to have a fucking religious or a spiritual conversion overnight or get meditating fucking sharpish. It's not going to happen. So that's a shame. But anyway, I got my top back because the cook's here with me. It was a misunderstanding. That was always a misunderstanding because it's just lack of communication, really. But it would have been nice to know what the hell was going on. But basically, it was just being. She'd washed it. So I got that back. So what else? Yeah, I was just on my own all day today. Managed to charge the phones. It said 3 hours of pretty strong sun, and then it went cloudy again with a bit of thunder going on, but not much rain here. So cook's going to make some platano, but I can't have salt tonight. I'm going to have another cup of avena, which is like watery porridge. But I can't have any sugar in that, and that's bland on its own. But anyway, at least have that in half an hour or so, and something on board for bed. I don't know if Meister's coming back, or whether he'll sleep in the Maloka over there, or he's got a room available to stay after the set. Yeah, because he wouldn't be able to come back a bit mareado on ayahuasca in the boat, so he'll stay in the retreat. Because it's 15 minutes walk, but he took the boat. So I don't know whether he'll be back tonight. I wouldn't have thought so. So, and then tomorrow do the dieta just on Katara again. I don't know how long, but it is a dieta on it. And then he said that in the last week there'll just be 3 more trees. So I won't be doing 3 trees in this week's dieta. It's just Katara only, but drinking the resin in warm water, a few drops, because it burns your skin, so, but you only have a few drops of it in a drink for your stomach, to clean your stomach as well, and then hopefully finish off. You mentioned about the these little pimples and stuff that come up, little watery and sometimes a bit pussy. And hopefully, because I mean, if nothing else on this dieta, that's all I want to take away from it. Because I've been in a bit of a shitty space today. And so I'm just thinking, oh fuck, I can't do this for a year. It's really difficult. Yeah. But I think about even going back, because there was a job on an email, just in a summer camp teaching TEFL, and I'm just thinking, it might be a nice change. I've got to get work for the future somehow. I can't rely on fucking XRP. It's not going to go up that much. So I think this dieta will be the end of it. And I'll have to go and try and find work. And I wouldn't be able to come back in for 6 months anyway. So that's, getting molested by bugs today. I was just getting a bit ratty with stuff. Fuck on. You have days like this, it's normal. Just jungle life gets to you when you're not a local. And just sort of missing people, and so I think I'm maybe due for a change, depending on what goes on with XRP. When I get back to Iquitos in 2 weeks, and may look for work. But I don't know, see what happens. You just never know. You never know anything on a day-to-day basis in this life at the moment, especially with all the plant medicines. Everything's constantly changing, which is frustrating, but kind of get, I just give up. I just think, oh fuck it. That's the sort of mood I've been in today. Just, oh fuck it, I can't be bothered. Whatever happens, happens, and it's just, can't do anything about it. But I really do want to change scenery. Could do with getting away for a while. To, back to civilization for a bit. Fucking work and English instead of broken Spanish and misunderstandings and miss a normal conversation for sure. But anyway, so Wednesday. So we've only got probably less than 2 weeks now. Depends, again, you just don't know, because I mean, how long's the dieta going to be? We only did the first week's dieta here. Sorry, in the last week's dieta in the last retreat. We only had 2 days on those 3 trees. But at least I saw them all. I saw loads of tree spirits. I don't know what they were, but all the big transformer men. So, I'm getting there. My progress is very, very, it's been sped up a lot since working with Maestro for sure. But, the prospect of thought of, when he told me that, it'd take another year for me to be in a new position, even to sort of do supervised ceremony, just like, oh god. And at the sort of rates of money, it's just not feasible. $2,400 every 3 weeks. It's like, nah, fucking hell, it's just too much money. I've got to get an income from somewhere. So anyway, on that bum note, I'll smoke a pipe and fuck off.